When you give a blanket, it's protection, it's warmth, it's love, it's security.
Almost everywhere a leader goes, they get a gift. It's diplomatic courtesy. A lot of it is worth more than $1,000, which means they can't keep them. They're forfeited to the crown. But no one knew what that actually meant until a CBC News investigation. No one kept track of all that loot. Some of that swag was stashed in the attic of 24 Sussex. Things are different now.
You do need to be respectful of the fact that they were a gift, and oftentimes a gift at a very high level.
All of the Prime Minister's forfeited gifts now end up at the National Capital Commission, a federal agency. It tries to place items in the Ottawa homes of the Prime Minister, Opposition Leader, and Speaker of the House of Commons.
Immediately when we see something like this, we say this is something that we potentially could use in an official residence in the right setting.
Other items are harder to place. A $1,200 pen. This set of gold watches worth more than $15,000 came from Congolese President Joseph Kabila. And it's unlikely this portrait in quartz and garnet gemstones will find a new home anytime soon.
Well, certainly timing with a portrait of a Prime Minister can make it a little bit more difficult. But in the meantime, we would continue to store it and care for it properly.
Donated by the former Prime Minister, Paul Martin.
Anything not going to an official residence is offered to federal institutions such as the Canadian Museum of History. So far, the museum has acquired 12 gifts received by former Prime Minister Stephen Harper, including this depiction of the Last Supper.
I thought it was unusual in a positive way. This comes from the leader of the Palestinian Authority, Mahmoud Abbas, with whom Canada has had, as we know, occasionally challenging relationship. And I thought that this was a graceful or gracious gesture.
Jelena also selected a narwhal tusk to demonstrate Harper's interest in the Arctic. And this gold coin from former Italian Prime Minister Silvio Berlusconi, symbolizing the idea of a global currency.
It is not necessarily the epitome of good taste. This particular coin or this particular project represents a certain utopia into the possibility of a united world economically and monetarily.
Curators have to think long-term when acquiring objects. So that blanket, while it might not end up on Trudeau's bed this winter, may one day be on display to illustrate his 10 years Prime Minister and how it all turned out. Alison Crawford, CBC News, Ottawa.